Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So it's been a really long time since I've posted a unemployed diaries vlog video, a job search, job hunt update video. So today I'm just gonna spill all the tea with what's been going on with my job search, what's been going on with my life, why I haven't been posting the unemployed diaries vlogs, why I haven't been posting on a regular schedule, and just get everybody caught up with what's going on and what's been happening in my life. So grab a drink, get cozy and settled in for us to have a little one-on-one and a little chat. Okay, so I made a list of everything in my phone that I wanted to talk about. So I'm gonna try to get through this entire list without droning on and on forever. I don't want this to be an hour-long video. Okay, so I'm gonna start with job search, job hunt updates, how many jobs I've applied to. So at this point, I'm over 140, I think maybe around 145. I kind of lost track a long time ago, so I haven't been really keeping track of exactly how many. I have not had any interviews at all. So since the last time I had an Unemployed Diaries video, I mentioned that I got through the first round with one job back in the summer, and they told me they had over 900 applicants, so that's why I didn't move forward, because there was probably someone just stronger than I was. And since then, I haven't had any follow-up at all. I am still receiving quite a few rejection emails, but most of the time I'm not hearing anything, which is fine. I did want to mention that I applied to a job at the company that had laid me off in January. I am still eligible for rehire because it wasn't my fault that I was laid off. And it was a hybrid position, and it was outside of what I have experienced doing, but in the past, at least internally, they were willing to hire internal candidates that have no experience and just train those candidates and those persons on how to do the job. So I thought that I might have a decent chance of getting hired, or at least get through the first round of interviews. And within 48 hours of sending that job application, I got an automated rejection. So I was pretty surprised to get that response, because they did ask if I had ever worked at the company, and I said yes, I was part of the layoffs, but I'm eligible for rehire. I still wasn't able to get a job at the company that I was just working for, but I saw last week that they actually laid off another couple hundred people, and they're closing even more jobs that they had open. So as time goes on, they're continually closing jobs and laying off people. I think they've probably laid off over like 1,500 people just within this year. So the likelihood of me returning to the company that I just worked at, even if I wanted to, is seeming less likely, just because they're in a situation where they're not retaining people, they're not hiring. So that is probably not going to be an option for me. I've also experienced another period of where I'm having a hard time just finding jobs to apply to, and that was a problem back in July, and for October that was a problem as well. There was 2 to 3 weeks where I was sick but coherent enough for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, that I spent hours just looking at jobs. I was on LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, looking at company websites, looking at other job boards, and I just couldn't find anything to apply to. So that's been one of the biggest problems within this whole job search, is just not finding roles that fit my criteria or fit the skills and experiences I have to apply to. So overall, I'm still looking, I'm still applying. I think I mentioned this in my last video, but because of not getting interviews and not being able to find jobs, I have expanded the roles and industries that I'm looking for. So at this point, I'm looking for marketing, communications, healthcare, operations, and then training and learning and development, but those would be entry level positions. So it is broad, and I've had a lot of people, or at least seen a lot of people online say to be specific, but in this market, with just my experience, being specific hasn't worked out for me. So I'm trying this other approach to see if maybe that is going to end up working better. I do have a full system down when it comes to applying to jobs. I have a query that I run through ChatGPT where I ask ChatGPT to look at the job posting, the job description, and my resume and tell me how qualified I am for that position. And it gives me an overall qualification, but it also breaks down each requirement bit by bit. So using that query, I have only been applying to jobs that ChatGPT is giving me a 70% or more qualification for. Of course, it's AI, so it's not always going to be accurate. There may be cases where I'm actually less qualified than that or more qualified, but I do like to run that query through just to double check to see where my strengths and weaknesses are. And I typically know that just looking at the job description, but I want to make absolute sure that I understand what the job description is asking and how I can tailor my resume for that job description. That's something that I do every single resume. I rewrite my summary. I replace my skills section to align with the job. I also might go in and just do some rewording within my bullet points in case there's like a keyword that I need to swap in or swap out. And I haven't been sending cover letters unless they ask for a cover letter, or if it's a job that I don't have direct experience in, but feel like my background may align in other ways. So for example, training positions or learning and development, because I have done training in past positions. I've also been a mentor, and I've also written instructional documents with my past job on how to do my daily processes. So I have a little bit of experience with that, and I always enjoy doing it. And I also have some volunteer experience being a teacher's assistant as well. So even though I don't have any direct titles that would be applicable to those roles, I want to make sure that the company that I'm applying to understands why I want to apply to those and where some of my past experience may cross over, even though it's not direct. I'm still trying to apply to at least one job every single day, Monday through Friday, and I typically like to at least hit 2 a day. It does take me about an hour to go through and look at the company, look at the job description, update my resume, and fill everything out. And I know that might seem like a lot of time, but I'm really trying to be meticulous and pay attention to all the details in order to submit these applications to hopefully get a call back for an interview. Sometimes it does take less than an hour, sometimes it takes more. It just depends on if the application is asking me to answer any other questions or if I need to write a cover letter or not. In my last Unemployed Diary series, I believe I mentioned that I was working with a career mentor, and I'm working with a career mentor. It's absolutely free. I am participating in a program through the Rise networking group. I've mentioned that many times in my Unemployed Diary series that I joined this online group. I have all the info for Rise below in the description box if you're interested. I highly recommend checking Rise out if you're looking for a job or if you want to network and meet other professionals across the US and the world. But I did meet with her, so we had one meeting way back, I think at the end of September, and we just talked about her background. It was just like an introductory coffee chat. Talked about where I'm at, my journey, what I've been doing, what I'm looking for, and kind of came up with a game plan as to how I want to advance in my job search. And then I got sick for 3 weeks, and then she was also sick for almost a month. So we weren't able to do our second appointment. We had to reschedule it. And I just met with her last Friday. So far, her and I have been working on coming up with a job search strategy as well as looking more into personal branding. And I know I've talked about this a few times, especially in the last Unemployment Diaries video. And I could go on and on about personal branding. And if you are interested in what personal branding is, or how to start it, or why you should start it, or why I'm obsessed with it, let me know in the comments, because I would be happy to do a detailed video on personal branding and how I'm starting that journey. But that's something that we talked about, and her and I really vibe really well. We have a lot of things in common, and we just instantly had a connection. She's been very helpful and supportive. One of the big things that I have really enjoyed about speaking to her is that every time I say something that's negative or having a negative thought pattern, she makes me rephrase that and rethink that. So one example is in our introductory meeting, I was saying that when I got laid off in January, I didn't have a LinkedIn because I deleted it. I didn't have an updated resume. I had nothing prepared, and that I felt stupid. And I can't believe that I was so blindsided by this. And she was like, hold up a minute. You were there for over 7 years. You were just promoted 6 months prior to being laid off. So why would you ever think that you needed to prepare? Like, you shouldn't feel stupid because you dedicated time and energy into a company. You were there for so long and you had no idea that this was going to happen. So she has definitely been helping me reframing my mindset. And I know that's something that I talk about a lot in my videos, is trying to have a positive mindset and reframe negativity and negative thoughts into positive thoughts, and look at everything as an opportunity and look at the bright side of everything. And I do that a lot, and I have been a lot better at it since I started my self-growth journey years and years ago, but it still happens, and I still find myself slipping up with that, especially with this unemployment journey and not getting interviews. So I'm glad that I have another support system there and someone that I can rely on and talk to that understands what I'm going through, that's also like a cheerleader for me, because she's told me, like, you have a lot of really great things here. You have a lot of great skills. You have a lot of things that other people don't have. And we just need to figure out how to leverage that and package that up and promote it in a right way to get you interviews and find a role that you're happy in, that's fulfilling, and that you're going to be successful in. So I'm really enjoying that experience so far. And as I continue to meet with her and go through this journey with her and get feedback from her, I'm definitely going to keep you updated on that. And I want to keep sharing the little nuggets of things that she's sharing with me and give it back to you guys, because I know a lot of you are looking for jobs. You're either unemployed, you don't like the job you're in, or you just want to grow in your career and your professional life. So I want to make sure that any good tidbits of information are coming back to you guys as well. Okay, I'm just going through my list to see what I've mentioned so far. I did want to mention that I finally did a cold outreach on LinkedIn. I have talked about this in quite a few Unemployed Diaries videos, that I was afraid to reach out directly to a hiring manager or recruiter because I'm shy and introverted, and even though I'm on YouTube, that's just like something that I didn't ever think about doing. So I found someone that posted a job, and I applied to the job and immediately sent them a connection request and said, hey, I applied to the job you posted. I think I would be a good fit for the job because of X, Y, and Z. Look forward to speaking with you. And they never responded to the connection, so they never approved it and never responded back to my message, which is fine because they posted that they wanted to fill this role. I'm sure that they got bombarded by hundreds of connections and messages just for this role. Even though I didn't get a response back, it was still a good thing that I did that, because that helped me get over my cringe mountain of reaching out to random strangers on LinkedIn that I have no idea who they are and I've never talked to before. So I'm still glad that I did it, even though I ended up getting an auto rejection for that job that I applied to. So I also want to mention posting on LinkedIn. I know that I spoke about this a few vlogs ago, but I have been consistently posting on LinkedIn at least one time a week, sometimes up to 3 times. And I have been doing a bit of an experiment with that. So I've been experimenting with different styles of posts, from videos, posts with no images, posts with images, and then I started doing some polls recently, as well as the different type of content that I'm posting. And I have seen an increase in impressions and followers and connection requests from posting. But even though I was posting, I was not really commenting or reacting to other people's posts. So the last 2 weeks, I made it a goal to at least make one comment on a post that was authentic every single weekday. And when I say authentic, I mean, instead of just posting, "Oh, that's interesting, thanks for sharing," it's a real comment that adds value, that adds conversation to something that they've already posted or already talking about. And since I've been doing that consistently for 2 weeks, I am noticing that my older posts are starting to rise in impressions. So I think the key to growth on LinkedIn is not only posting high quality content with images or video every single week, at least one time, but you also need to be commenting every single day on at least one post, and it needs to be an authentic, value-based comment. So that's something that I'm going to continue to do. And I'm not trying to become a LinkedIn influencer or anything like that necessarily, but I have seen a lot of people mention that the more you post and engage and comment on LinkedIn, the more likely you're going to be seen by hiring managers, companies, recruiters, etc. Apparently, only 9% of the people on LinkedIn, I think it's 9%, it's either 9% or less than that, that are on LinkedIn actually post. And if you are posting and engaging, LinkedIn's boosting your visibility on the platform. So having a LinkedIn that's filled out with keywords and a good headline and a profile picture and all that's really important, but you also want to be engaging, posting as well if you want to get noticed by recruiters, hiring managers, etc. on LinkedIn. So at this point, I have been looking at LinkedIn more strategically, and as well as the personal branding thing. If you want more details on my strategy for becoming a top voice or finding work on LinkedIn, let me know in the comments below, because I would be happy to make a more detailed video going through how I'm approaching LinkedIn differently and strategically. So that's pretty much all of the job hunt updates. I do have some family life updates that I want to share before I go into how I'm feeling mentally and addressing why I haven't been posting my usual content or posting on my usual schedule. The first thing that I want to say is that I think it was back at the beginning of October, I got sick for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I know I've talked about this a few times on my channel already. So that being sick, I don't know what it was. It was definitely some sort of cold or upper respiratory thing, and I was okay for about 2 weeks, enough that I could get on LinkedIn and like write and post and look at jobs. But then for about a week and a half, I was just completely out of it. I spent my whole day on the couch basically. I was sleeping, I was stuffy, I couldn't think straight, and I just couldn't work anymore. So I did have to rearrange my posting schedule. I skipped a video, and because of that, I definitely did not hit the goals I wanted to for YouTube or for my job search journey in October at all. So that was kind of disappointing, but things happen and you have to be ready for the unexpected to happen. After I got done being sick, it was also my birthday. And if you haven't figured it out by now, autumn is my absolute favorite time of year. So in October, I'm typically pretty busy. I'm going to fall festivals. I'm going to the pumpkin patch. I'm going for a hike. I'm doing a birthday thing. I'm doing all this stuff. So a lot of things got pushed off because I was sick. So we had to make up for it within the last 2 weeks of October. I had to do a big reset where I cleaned my house because I had friends coming over for my birthday. I posted a video about that. So there was just a lot going on, a lot of busyness, a lot of catching up. And I think it was, oh boy, at the beginning of October, end of September, Kevin, my partner, he was in a minor fender bender and we haven't had our vehicle because of that. It's still in the body shop getting fixed. And I was actually on the phone with him when that happened, which was really scary because at first I didn't know how bad the accident was. All I heard was screeching tires, the beep from the collision thing in the newer vehicles, and crunchy noises. So it was kind of scary when it first happened. If you've ever been on a phone call with someone at the same time they get in a car accident, you know what I'm talking about. But he's okay. The other person is okay as well. No one was hurt. It was just his car, which he's really proud of. He really loves the vehicle he has. So we have been using a rental vehicle and it's definitely not up to the standards that we like to have, especially for him. So that's been just like a stressful little bit of a situation there for October. And it's definitely put a damper on us traveling or going and doing things because Kevin has a truck and the rental vehicle he has is a car. So we've had to make some adjustments with how we do things. But we should be getting our truck back soon, so hopefully that will happen before Thanksgiving when we go to travel to see my family. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is sad. So I want to get that out of the way before I go into the other good bits. I have not been uploading my videos on Sundays like I normally do or posting the videos that I have been planning on posting because there was a bit of a family emergency and I did have to go back to my hometown to visit my family. Unfortunately, my grandmother isn't doing well. I'm gonna stop and just say I'm gonna try to get through this without crying. So if my eyes start looking red, it's probably because I'm getting upset. But my grandmother isn't doing well. She is not going to be with us much longer. And it all happened very, very quickly. She is suffering from dementia and quite a few other things. It's really difficult for my family. My mother is taking care of her. And my mom works. She has, her own things that she has to do. So it's a lot on her. And my brother came up from where he lives in North Carolina to see her. And he was upset. And I live about 3 hours away from my family and where I grew up. So when you're not there and you're not seeing it and then you go back and you see it and it's very whoa, wow, how did this get so bad so quick? It's a lot to take in. And they did recently approve her for hospice at home. So thankfully she doesn't have to go into assisted living or anything like that. Someone is going to be at home with her. And my mom's still there pretty much all the time. I think she is trying to get her into some sort of assisted living if possible, but there's a wait list. And I don't know all the details, but she, even though she's still here physically, mentally, she is just really not there. So in a way, I've already started the grieving process because she's she's just not herself at all. And I know that it's not going to be much longer that she's physically going to be here. And even with her physically still being here and not really mentally being herself, what she can do physically is very, very limited. You know, she needs assistance with every single thing that she does. She can't stand up on her own. She can't get dressed. You know, she just needs constant care. It's just watching that is really hard. And I think anyone who has, you know, lost an older person or a grandparent or a parent to dementia and deteriorating health will understand what I'm going through. I have all of my grandparents on both sides of my family still alive. So this is like the first time that I've ever experienced the grief of, you know, potentially losing a grandparent. So I am trying to process everything. And when I came back from visiting her and seeing my family, I was in like a very deep state of depression for days because it just all hit me like, this is really happening. It's not going to be much longer. And all the memories came back. And see, I told you I was probably going to start crying. So I'm going to try to get through this. So it was just a lot. And like I said, I think I already started the grieving process because I know that she's slowly just slipping away from the grandmother that I'm used to. So when I came back, I was just really in a bad place. I was crying a lot. Things that made me think about her all the time. I was just looking at random things and it made me think about her and I would just start crying. I am definitely feeling better, especially if I'm not talking about it. It helps because it's like out of sight, out of mind. But that's why I have not been showing up on YouTube. And it definitely stinks because I thought by the end of October that I would have my watch time hours. I thought I would have more subscribers. I thought I would have certain videos up and I didn't. But like I can't get the time back with my grandmother or, you know, going to see her. So, you know, YouTube just has to not be important when things like that happened. So that's like what's been going on, and I didn't want to really talk about it until now. I wanted to do like a full video explaining what was going on, but that's been the situation. So as things progress and get worse, there may be times where I skip uploads or I upload a video that I said I wasn't going to upload because I already have it pre-recorded or it's easier or whatever. And I'm pretty sure that everybody that is my subscribers or has been watching understands that and that they're just gonna get it. So I really appreciate everyone being patient and understanding and everything like that because life happens and things that you don't expect to happen just do. So that's really what's been going on. It's been a really like rough month and a half and it's not the fall that I was expecting. So it's been disappointing, it's been sad, it's been stressful, it's been emotional, and all this stuff has really been a bit of a damper on my mental health. But I'm trying to stay positive. I'm trying to think happy thoughts. I'm trying to get back into my routine, get back into the motions, as well as take care of myself, give myself space and time to heal, to be sad, to feel grief, and just to process what's happening and then show up when I'm ready to show up. So I'm gonna move back to the positive, and I want to give everybody who is a subscriber who has been watching all of my videos a round of applause because we hit 1,000 subscribers, and that's so exciting and so amazing and so awesome. And I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's watching all my videos, commenting, sending their support and encouragement. You have no idea how much that means to me, and I wouldn't be hitting this milestone unless it was for you. So I know I've really been pushing the 100K celebration Q&A video quite a bit on my community channel, but I do want to mention it again. I posted a survey quite a while ago asking if you'd be interested in doing a Q&A and submitting a question to have like a celebratory video, and I've only gotten 2 questions so far. So send in those questions. Ask me anything, literally anything under the sun. It can be about me, my life, YouTube, unemployment, my cats, Kevin, my family, dealing with all the crazy things that I've been dealing with, anything. I am pretty much an open book. So send me those questions over. You can put them in the comments below. You can also send me a direct message on Instagram, or you can email me. The Instagram and the email is in the description box below. But yes, I am so excited that I hit 1,000 subscribers. I have done a bit of research on this, and apparently only like 8 to 10% of YouTubers on YouTube even hit 1,000 subscribers. So the fact that I've made it this far is a pretty big deal, and I don't think a lot of people understand how much of a big deal that is. I am not fully monetized yet. I have about 140 watch hours to go to hit the monetization. So hopefully by the time this video goes up and goes live, I'll be closer to that. And then hopefully by the end of this video going live in a couple weeks, we can hit the monetization 4,000 watch hours. I'm really hoping that by the end of the year to get fully monetized, and I can't wait to talk more about that later in upcoming videos. So that's all of the updates that I have for you today. I think I sat here and rambled at you for about 45 minutes, so I'm going to end the video here. Don't forget to send me your questions for the 1K celebration video. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to connect with you in the next video.